The Strategic Hotbox with Dr. Brandi Stankovic. Discussing leadership, business, and how to take control of your life and achieve greatness. From the streets of Las Vegas, energized, informed, and never diluted. It's time to kick some ass.
Hey, it's your girl, Dr. Brandi Stankovic. We're back on the Strategic Hotbox in a studio. How pretty is this studio?
Very nice.
It's so
very, very
pretty.
impressive.
And I have my friend Elefterios, Sakoulas.
That is right. I am here.
You
nailed it.
Nailed
You nailed it.
You know how many times I had to practice that before?
45
we
years.
Won't even talk.
My name's been butchered for 45
sure
years.
Has. It's bad enough having Stankovic instead of Stanky Bitch or all the other things that junior high people lead me to be. But if this is your first time here with the Strategic Hotbox, we learn, we love, and we kick ass. And as you may know, I love to bring in guests that are doing something especially cool, some kick-ass things out in the field that they can teach us something so we learn a little about different industries and different people. And then we always talk about love, the importance of relationships in business, how we can support one another as humans, and then, of course, give you those tools that you need to take out in the field and start kicking ass today. And as I mentioned, we have the infamous Cash here with us, calling this episode today Haunted Creativity because,
very nice.
Yes, you're haunted in what you do, but also very creative in your businesses.
Unicorn. I never come out.
Yeah.
I don't believe I'm out.
I know. This is
weird.
it. Are you even going to show on camera? Is this going to be one of those like Back to the Future?
Everybody see me?
The invisible moments. So I'd like to talk a little bit with you about what it is that you do. So if you could set the stage with, you've come up in business, you're an entrepreneur, you have helped create, which we're going to dig into, some different experiences, but how did you get into this? Did you just, jack of all trades?
Yes, jack of all trades. Mechanical engineer by trade. Okay, I went to aviation high school. I worked on airplanes for 4 years, and I loved it. I've always been a hands-on kind of guy, and I've always been, I need to see how it works. I need to see how it works, what makes it work. And I'm that kid that destroyed all his toys, took them all apart, and wasn't able to put them back together until I learned how to put them back together.
Sure.
And then it just, I guess, flourished from there. I've been a fan of Halloween my entire life. Some of the best memories I've had growing up were Halloween. And I love horror.
What's your best Halloween costume ever?
I've had a couple. Yeah. I've had a few. I used to go down to Greenwich Village in New York. I'm from New York, by the way. Sorry. Born and raised in New York City. Vegas now. Vegas 18 years now. Wow. And 17 years. And I used to make my own Halloween costumes. One, because I couldn't find anything cool enough. And two, because we were poor as shit and I couldn't go buy one, right? So I used to make them. Go to Goodwill, buy whatever I could find at Goodwill, go to Salvation Army, whatever I could find there, and just kind of piece it together. Excuse me. And then one year I got some football shoulder pads and I did this whole contraption with wings and a pulley system and aircraft cable, and I had this demon mask that I made, and I went out, I went on the subway that way down to Greenwich Village dressed in a full demonic angel kind of creature. And wound up winning like 3 different Halloween contests. And then just Halloween has always been in my heart. I've always loved it. I've been doing it for 25 years. Started in New York, started with just doing parties, doing Halloween parties, big parties, and they evolved to abandoned warehouses and then haunted houses and then coming to Vegas. I met up with a gentleman, also an entrepreneur, smart, great guy. His name is Jason Egan. He became a best friend of mine, and we just started doing Halloween together. And we did Halloween really big here in Vegas and owned it.
Everything in Vegas is big too.
I know it's big, but then we took it everywhere. I've been to L.A. I've been back to New York, Buffalo, Boston a few times. Boston. I even went to Hong Kong, and did Halloween in Hong Kong, which pretty intense.
I'm sure it is.
It was intense. There are some stories. I was in Hong Kong for a month, and I've got some great stories about Hong Kong. And scaring the shit out of people. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, every opportunity I get.
I despise haunted houses. Like when people jump out of things, Cash, I tell you what
the fuck am I doing here?
No, please don't go.
You just told me you hate me. That's what you just said. You despise me.
But I am a huge fan of Halloween, and I love dressing up for Halloween. And every year try to get into it as possible. And have been teaching my boys to go beyond the costume store packaged costumes. But my favorite ever was I did Married with Children. And only some people knew who we were. Yeah, right. No, and I even like had a cigarette that like I put glue in the ash to like show, because remember how she would hold the super long ash cigarette. So I loved that costume. And we've done a few that we got us in a little trouble. Like one year I was Caitlyn and my partner was Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner winning the Olympics, and I was Caitlyn from the cover. And that one was, a few people were like, too soon, and then that one year, the only year I've ever won anything, I was the Stingray. And my partner was, my brother actually was.
Don't say it. Don't even fucking say it. I don't want to hear it.
Bad video out there, but
don't put that shit out there.
Everybody thought that one was a little too soon also, but also awesome. So I love Halloween.
Though.
Do you know my favorite one with the boys was we were the Jokers. We were each a different Joker.
Oh, brilliant.
And I was the new one, and the other one was the one that has it written.
The Jared Leto, the shitty one?
Jared Leto one, yeah. And then the third was.
It's pronounced Leto.
Leto, okay. Jared Leto one, excuse me. And then the third was my younger son was Heath Ledger.
Yeah, the best.
And
Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson's pretty good too. So I love Halloween. If that makes up for anything.
Listen, honestly, so I do remember my favorite costume, and it wasn't scary.
Really? What was it?
I was Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh, really?
I was, and I actually got into a fight at a bar that night.
Did someone think you were actually him? Oh.
No. He just wanted to run his mouth and thought it would be hilarious.
And that it actually fit to the costume, though.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant because Dog the Bounty Hunter was beating up some guy at a bar in Queens, New York.
It just makes it.
And then we had shots together, and it was great.
So you create these experiences, though, and so it's really about the ultimate experience, and that's branched beyond haunted experiences, has it not?
It is. It is. For the last two, so I found out real quickly, actually recently, that Christmas is significantly more lucrative than Halloween. And my heart is always Halloween, right? It'll always be Halloween. I'll die in a costume. It'll be great. But Christmas, so, when it comes to Halloween, you cater to a certain demographic, right? We're looking at 12 to 55, right?
Right.
Maybe 60, pushing it. Halloween is everyone. Halloween is from
Christmas
I'm sorry. Christmas is everyone. I apologize. Everyone from 3 to 103.
Yeah.
And everybody loves Christmas, and everybody wants to buy a ticket, and everybody wants to be part of it. And for the last 2 years, I actually retired from Halloween, from doing haunted houses. Kind of took a step back. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I'm sure it is.
and it's from concept to. We're talking
to clean up, concept.
Concept to literally taking tickets from people's hands and ripping their tickets and allowing them access. Like it's beginning to end, and that's how I do. I like to keep track, or as much as I possibly can, keep my finger on all the different pulses.
Yeah,
every part of it. Almost to a fault. I got to step back sometimes and make sure I have the right people in place, and they help me out and do what they do. But Christmas is it's unique. I've been making money, making people cry for 25 years, and now it's exactly the opposite. I have to make them smile and laugh,
or make them cry in a warm way.
Well, yeah. I'll put on a Krampus suit and scare the shit out of a couple of kids. But the last 2 years I've been doing Christmas only. I kind of pulled back into production the last 2 years ago. Did an awesome show here in Vegas, and just got back from Miami. I was in Miami for 4 months, which sucked.
Yeah,
the show was great, but everything else sucked.
It's hard. It's hard work.
Yeah, it's hard work. Miss all the holidays.
Yeah.
I miss Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. I missed all that shit just to be there, to make it happen. But it was good. It was a successful show. It was in Miami. We brought real snow to Miami, and Miami, the locals lost their minds. They loved it.
I know that I've taken my kids to your experiences prior and was in Miami and saw it in Miami, and they're incredible. Like, it's a full-on winter wonderland experience for sure.
It's full 30,000 square feet. I like to go big. I like to go big. I like people to be awestruck. They're like, whoa, you know. And that was massive.
How do you step through that creation of the experience? So when you sit down with people, you have that vision and crazy mind, but maybe not everybody else that's helping you execute does.
Not at all. Nobody knows what the fuck I'm doing half the time. I swear, this is how every one of my things go. It just automatically comes to my head, and I start seeing it, and then I try to draw it and put it on paper so people could see what it looks like, and they fuck it up all the time, and I get upset and I yell and scream, and then I start doing it, and I'm very hands-on. I'm very hands-on, but I'd like to be hands-on. You know, I don't like to just point and do that shit. I mean, I feel that I've always, whatever I have done in life, I've always, you know, if I have a crew and I'm working with,
you're in it. You're 100%.
I'm in it. I feel like I think it's very important that's how I gain my crew's respect, my people's respect, my team's respect. I'll never ask them to do anything that I haven't done or I'm willing to do. And if they're in the shit, I'm in the shit with them. You know, 100%, always. And same thing on the positive side. If I eat, they eat. Right?
Yeah. Well, and that's that. I think that being a true entrepreneur is just that. Like, I talk to people about compensation. I talk to people about anything else. As the business grows, we all grow, and that's part of it. And how do you articulate creative weirdness?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I do a lot of kind of behind the scenes sit down powwows with my teams.
Do you use verbal kind of descriptions?
I do verbal descriptions. I do a lot of, you know, in my line of work, I use a lot of references of stuff that I assume everybody has seen already, and kind of along those lines. But it's it's mostly me in a room. There's usually whiskey involved, yelling at like 12 people to make this, to build this, to do this, just the way I want it.
Right.
Yeah, and then I'll go in and give the final touches, and I've kind of assembled a really good team.
That's great.
I put together. I have a really, really good team. Actually, Halloween team is spread out all over the country at this particular moment. The Christmas team is here in Vegas, but I mean, you know, they'll be here.
Yeah. You know, and I think everybody that's listening and watching can relate to the fact of sometimes I know when I have to talk to technology teams or if I have to talk to the sales team, everybody has a different vibe, and you almost have to speak multiple business languages in order to articulate or create a shared vision, right? So it's not just my vision or your vision, it's
Absolutely.
It becomes our vision. And I think also then you did bring up a good point earlier in the fact that maybe you have to catch yourself of having too much of a pressure on the pulse or being too involved in allowing people to celebrate and grow in that way.
I'm good at delegating, but then I'm horrible the moment I finish delegating because I'm all over it. And it's fine. I mean, I'm evolving as well. You know, as things go, because I've come. You know, I've done different things. I mean, I was when I first moved here to Vegas, I was a mechanical engineer for a hotel casino on the Strip. And I was there for 15 years, almost 15 years I was there. And I went up through the ranks. I started as a line level engineer, which I loved. I moved up to senior watch, moved up to third key, and, you know, all the way up to facility manager. And then I was behind a desk. And then the moment that happened, I've learned a lot about myself in the last 5 years. Okay. I've learned that if, and actually credit to my wife for this, she pointed this out, and I just totally oblivious to it. If I'm not creating, I'm miserable.
Yeah.
I'm miserable. Brandi, the moment they put me behind a desk, you put me behind a desk, you ask me to do fucking reports and approve time off and do budgets.
It's sucking the life.
I hate my life. I'll jump out of the fucking window. I hate it. I can't do it.
I get it.
I can't, and I've always thought to myself, like, I always find myself going into these like, you know,
because you're good
in a job, and I get to a certain point at whatever job I'm doing where I'm like, I don't even need to be here. This is running on its own. It's operating. Everybody's cool. Everything is great. It's working great. And I'm stuck here approving PTO.
Right.
Fuck this. I hate it.
Yeah.
So I got to that point at that job, and it was a great job. And I went to the corporate office, and I said, I put my 2 weeks in, and they're like, what?
Right.
Like, somebody would kill for this job. I said, not me. I said, I'm not willing to kill for it or die for it. Fuck it. I'm out of here. And I left. And then it was scary. It was scary.
I'm sure,
because then I opened a pizzeria. I opened a horror-themed pizzeria here in Vegas. And it was about 5 months. This is probably the one thing that most of your viewers, and I mean, the world can relate to. It was fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
And that's the one, right? That's that leap where you're like, I have it, because the way I saw it, I had what was called, I named it the golden handcuffs. Okay,
sure.
So I was at this job where I was making really good money, not extraordinary money,
but there's retirement, there's a future, there's
full benefits, and I've got 2 kids. Now I'm leaving this job with full benefits and 401k and a pension that I had when I was in the union, and all this shit that I'm leaving to just do what? To do what? So for 5 months, not a dollar went into my account, into my bank account.
Yikes.
But if you looked at it, it was all red, all coming out, coming out. But what I did was I built a pizzeria. Yeah. You know, by myself, sat there, and I did the
found
floors,
your life again.
I did the wall. Yeah.
Breath.
I mean, I loved it. I loved it. And it was terrifying.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to tell people, you know, that, yeah.
You got to make the leap.
It's fucking scary, and there's no ifs, ands about it. It's going to be scary, and it's going to suck, and you're going to check your account every day, and you're going to shit your pants, and you're going to be like, am I going to have enough to pay the mortgage? Am I going to have enough to pay for the car? But the moment, and then as soon as what you build starts making money, all that shit goes away.
Yeah.
All of it goes
stresses.
away. You're like, oh my God, I did it. You know, I did it. And then that's
what I love about what the story that you're sharing with it is your vision, your future can evolve, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I always thought I was going to be this, and then you get there, and the realities of that might be different. Now, I'm not saying for those that are listening, no one listening to us is going to be this way, but so for those out there listening that are like just lazy and like, oh, when I got there and I found out I had to do any fucking work, then I'm over it. That's different, right? Because there's always going to be shit jobs. You're always going to have to be the fly that does the shit. Right?
Oh yeah.
On the flip side of that, there have been moments of evolution for me. I know in the last few years for me, chasing more ended up becoming not what I want. And I never saw that in myself because that's all I've ever known. And then stopping, I laugh, and I was saying it with some friends here even, that I call it my gap year in the last couple of years, because I just never had a year where I wasn't like balls to the wall, all out, all the time, making myself insane or making myself sick for pushing so hard.
Absolutely.
And it sometimes starts to shift in what is it that I want to do to actually create life? Like if this is my last chance, what does this actually look like? Now, I feel like you and I can have that conversation because we've been doing it for 20 plus years. Yeah. Not everybody, if somebody's starting their career, you got to just suck it up. You know, you got to just roll the sleeves up and make things happen.
Absolutely. I agree. I 100%. Look, when I've never not had a job.
Right.
I started working when I was 14. I was working just weekends, going to school.
I think that's illegal now.
I don't give a shit. Yeah. It's always been illegal, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's right,
I don't fucking know. But my cousin owned a butcher shop. I was a butcher for 5 years. Yeah, until I was
Maybe that's why you like horror. Was there creepy things happening in that butcher shop? Okay, we don't have to. We can pull that piece out. Yeah. Yeah, but you've worked forever, so it's all you know.
Forever, and I love working. I've always loved working. I love building stuff and creating stuff and doing stuff with my hands. I love it. I think that. Get off your fucking ass and go.
And do.
Just go, man. Just take that shit. Look, I recently, and I'm sure you've heard this and your listeners have heard this and a lot of people haven't, but I've recently heard this. You work your whole life doing something that you don't want to do. Wait, I'm fucking this up. Anyway, just listen. I'll make it the cash way, right? This is cash style. So you'll make it. You work your whole life to bust your ass and then wind up losing your health. Then you spend all the money that you made to regain your health back. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Towards the end of your life. And it fucking sucks. I hate that.
Yeah.
I just, that idea is miserable. That and I don't know if it's age. I don't know what's going on with me lately.
Yeah.
But the idea of life being too short is really, really, really. I mean, honestly, it's in my soul now, where it's like, fuck this, fuck this. I will not be miserable. The constant pursuit of happiness, every fucking day, whatever it takes, whatever that means.
Yeah,
and sometimes that pursuit of happiness is going under the hood of one of the hot rods and just farting around, changing spark plugs. It doesn't matter. I
feel like that's where you were when we made the call to get you on the episode, as you were under a vehicle.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. I was under my truck, under the hood of my truck. Yeah.
But you're right. My friend Justin said to me, and I may have shared on the podcast or not, but health is a freedom that very few realize until they no longer have it.
Yeah.
And as we get older, we were laughing about, you won't see a podcast without glasses anymore because I can't see without my glasses anymore. And life,
nerd.
I know. At least I'm a hot nerd.
You're a hot nerd, though. Yep. Hot nerd, ladies and gentlemen. At least,
but you go through all this process and you do become more appreciative of things along the way. So when you're thinking about your experiences now, like in your when people are going through it,
bring me back in because you got to reel me back in because I'll keep going. We'll be here for hours talking about all the everything.
How do you know if it's a success? What's the gauge?
It's not money. It's not. Okay, because I had a good run on the pizzeria for 2 years, and then I recently walked away from the pizzeria. Just done. I gave it up. Was it a success? Yes, it was a success. And it wasn't the money. So yeah, I made money on the pizzeria, and that was great. It was fine. But me personally, what was the most successful part of it is I learned my son's work ethic.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Totally different. Yeah. And fuck the money. I learned that this kid at 15 years old would go to school every day, 5 days a week, go to the gym after school, and then come to the damn pizzeria and close the fucking thing with me. Then go home and do homework. Hop in the shower, go to school, and do it all over again. 5 days a week.
Not only you learned it, but you also bred that. You helped create that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, his dad busts his ass, and he likes working too. He wants his own money, and he wants to be independent. He wants to be strong, and I learned that about him and my daughter. My daughter too. My daughter would put in tons of hours at that pizzeria and time, and I learned that, and I loved it. And I made a lot of connections, a lot of great friends. Networking was fantastic. I met tons of new people, influential people, good people. Solid people that I can talk to and bounce ideas off of, and maybe even invest in future projects. Tons of stuff.
Where do you find inspiration? So if you're thinking about creating an experience, or if people listening are doing something creative in their business, where do you go for inspiration?
That's you can't ask me that question because my inspiration is creepy. Or Santa. It's like, I don't know. I'll just watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre 10 times and then.
To each his own.
No, it comes from inside. It comes from within. You've got to. I'm a strong believer in find what you love. And I totally believe that. I've got a plan. I'm 45. I've got a plan, and I'm not going to share it with everybody because I don't want anybody to steal my fucking plan. But I have a plan, and
well, we'll have you back after you've executed that plan. You come back on the show and tell us.
I'm about 2 years away. I'm about 2 years away. Right. I will be retired way before I'm 50.
Good.
And now this might not be something you want to hear, but I will be on the beach in Greece, either in a house or in a cardboard box. I don't give a shit, but I will be there. And I've already arranged. I already told my kids. They already know what's going to happen. But most likely it'll be at a house. Trust me, it won't be a damn cardboard box. But if it is a cardboard box, it'll be a badass cardboard box with a haunted house cardboard box
next door to it. I love it.
But yeah, that's. It's got to be. And it's cliche. You've heard it a million times. Find something you love. You'll never work a day in your life. Yes, 100%
Yeah,
love it. And I plan on dying under, I don't know if I could say this, Either under a badass hot rod or under a beautiful,
I mean, I filled in the dots. We'll let everyone else fill in the dots.
Under my beautiful wife. Let's put it like that. Yeah, but I'm planning on croaking one of those ways. But I'll never stop. Especially if I'm doing what I love, which I will be, it'll be forever. I'll die on a stool welding, happy.
And answer this 1-2 word response. If I could, I would blank every day.
Oh, good question. If I could, I would blank every day.
Tacos, babes, hot rods. I mean, you've said a lot of things already.
Yeah, I know, but do I want to go deep? Do I want to make it legit? Do I want it to be deep?
Yeah,
go deep?
If you've got it, go deep.
It's got to be play with my kids. It has to be. That's my number one thing in life. My babies are my heart. Way better than I deserve, by the way. Both those
If that
kids.
was deep, what was your shallow?
Probably tacos or PBR.
Always PBR's up there.
PBR, yeah. Busting my knuckles on a small block Chevy.
Yeah.
I love that.
And the world would be a better place if...
All right, your choice. Deep or shallow? You tell me because...
well, now I want them both.
You want them both. The world would be a better... Okay. I'll just give you one. And I'm big. I don't know what it is. If it's the Greek in me, the philotimo that everybody talks about in the Greek culture. I like harmony. I like wherever I am, whatever's going on. If somebody's beefing or some shit is going on and people are agitated, upset, I hate that. I like to take that out of the room wherever I am, whether it's work or my social life, whatever it is. I like to take that away. Okay. I like harmony. I want everybody to be okay, everybody to have fun. And I know but when we're together, I want everybody to be harmony. So I would say kindness. Lead with kindness. Number one. It's so much fucking easier, instead of being a dick, to help the person up or make sure they're okay, ask them if they're all right, It's got to be, for me, kindness. The world will be a better place if people were just not assholes. And I'm an asshole, but it's justified when I'm an asshole.
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. On that note, let's head out to our shout out.
Soy Rocío, estoy en la Catedral de Cuernavaca, en el Centro Histórico de Cuernavaca. Estoy escuchando a Brandi en Hotbox. ¡Yuhu!
Thank you to my friends. Gracias to my friends, mis amigos in Cuernavaca, in Mexico, for the shout out. And so if we bring it all back together, if we could leave the listeners with a takeaway, a kick-ass takeaway, what would it be?
I've been all over the board. I don't know.
I mean, we've talked about creating an experience, sharing a vision, having fun, evolving what that vision is as we move forward, having passion.
Sure. I'll just touch back on what I am feeling now in my life. What's the number one thing right now in my life is I'll touch back on finding what you love to do and let it kill you. 100%. 100. And it's my plan. That's my plan. I'll be building hot rods till the day I die.
Finding what you love to do and letting it kill you.
Let it kill you.
I love that. If people wanted to get a hold of you, how could they do that?
Call me. No, I'm just joking. You see me at the bar, buy me a drink, I'll come over. Hit me up on my email. Okay. I've got a couple. Let's do for you guys. Let's do getslicedlv@gmail.com.
So getslicedlv, all one word, at gmail.com.
That's correct.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much to Cash for being here
lovely host.
and sharing his love with us. Thank you to all of you, our listeners, faithful listeners, for being a part of the podcast. As you know, we're available anywhere that you want to watch it. YouTube, Audible, like the iTunes app. Do they even have iTunes anymore? Did I just date myself? Apple Music, whatever. Or you can find us on all the social medias as well. Instagram, Facebook, even TikTok. I went out there and I did it. TikTok at Dr. Brandi Love.
I don't even know what that is.
Instagram at Brandi Love. Yes, you do. Whatever. I'm going to make a TikTok of Cash after this just for all of you. And of course, if you're ever sitting on your couch and just watching and you happen to have Roku, we have a Roku app as well. And you can download and check it all out and brush up on all of your strategic hot box. Until I see you again, all of my friends, thank you again to Cash.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of you. Get out there and kick some ass.